Have you ever been in a situation where you're talking to somebody and you get in a bit of an argument, you get a tension in the topic you brought up, and all you wanted to know was, why in the world does this individual not see it the way I do? I've been in those situations numerous of times. How hard is it to see it like this? It's not very hard. It's pretty simple and logical. But yet the other individual does not see it that way. And you get frustrated, you get angry, and then you just start, and then the conversation ends, and then you've got tension between the relationship now because of an argument that you had about a view and perspective that you thought was right and they thought was wrong, but you never addressed it. Now, what am I trying to get? Now, listen to me. This is brilliant. This is brilliant. I got it from John Maxwell's, and it's called the exchange principle. Now, this is phenomenal because I was that individual. I was that individual that I saw one thing in my perspective, and then I used to have arguments, and then I used to end relationships. And then there used to be tension within the relationship next time we saw. So if I knew this principle then, it would not have happened the way it did. The outcome would not have been the same. Now, the exchange principle says that instead of putting others in their place, you must put yourself in their place. Well, what do I mean? Let's take it back into the context we were. You and your friend, and you're talking, and then the arousal happens where you deliver your point of view on something and they didn't agree with it because they saw it differently, right? And then you get angry because they don't see it, and then tension builds up, and then all of a sudden the conversation ends and both of you go in their separate ways, and you just got built up frustration, right? All right, now let's go back into it. Now, what this principle says was, put yourself in your friend's point of view. Now, what do I mean? I mean, if you see it one perspective, that's the way you see it, and you don't question the reason why we generate so much frustration with the way they don't understand it is because we're only seeing it in our view, and we don't address the issue, that we don't ask the question, I want to know why they don't see it the way I do. I want to know where they get their point of view. I want to know how they came up with that. Now, it's as simple as asking a question. Because therefore, the tension removes itself, because if you understand where they're coming from, therefore you can address it. And if you don't like their point of view, fine. But don't leave it with tension. At least you know where they're coming from. And it's brilliant, because when you ask a question, look, I don't see it the way you do. Help me to see how you see it, because then I can understand. Then I get general understanding of where you're coming from. That breaks down a lot of barriers, because then you have a conversation and not an argument. And yes, at the end, maybe you don't see it the way, maybe you don't agree with it, then fine. At least you say, at least I know where you were coming from. And it's brilliant, because it breaks up tension. So next time you get in a conversation, get in an uproar, try it. I'm learning right now. I'm going to be honest. This is not the easiest thing for me, because I'm very straight up with my decisions. I've just learned to get their point of view first before I deliver mine, and I'm still learning. It's not the easiest thing, but boys are rewarding, because then you can develop more relationships and separating because of a stinking argument, because of you didn't agree with certain topics, and it's just ridiculous if you look back at it. So I want to keep my relationships with people, therefore I need to understand this. I need to get it internalized where it's just automatic. And I hope this helps you out. Take care.